Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode of the Pricing Masters. Today we're discussing an important issue, something that we have covered in every single episode to some extent, but I still believe we need to crunch this into something simpler, something that is mostly visible on most pricing pages you will see, aka design and building models and how they fit into the overall packaging of the SaaS product.
Exactly. So yet another 15 minutes about pricing. Bear with us. Design. So where to start with the design?
So basically, as I said, like packaging consists of two things. One is your billing model, and second, which is the metrics, value metrics, and everything we have discussed. So usually you see four major models the companies use. And what we say now, you can build a hybrid on top of that. So flat subscription with overages. So you have a certain limit, and then when it's crossed, you need to pay more. Subscription and a mix of usage. So you pay certain amount for users, and on top
Access.
and there's usage-based pricing model.
So the classical.
The classic one, pay-as-you-go model, something that is happening. And it's always, in my opinion, it's always a conflict between directly monetizing. So usage-based is potentially the best in terms of monetization and scalability, but also the complication, versus building something fixed, stable, predictable, but also potentially allowing for worse monetization. So it's a trade-off between how much I want to monetize versus how easy this pricing effectively is.
There are more relationships like this, right? In this more fixed models, just more speak to your persona. You need to identify your target audience. You need to come up with the thresholds so they make sense. They are logical in terms of pricing, but also acceptable for your customers. I have the feeling that usage-based models are a bit more acceptable.
Nowadays or general?
In general and nowadays. Why not both, right?
I don't know what.
But more acceptable because they're quite easy to describe. They're quite easy to navigate. Users, from my experience, they just understand the usage-based model. While, in the fixed model, so to say, if there are no overages, you give some kind of a handcuffs to your users. They're bound to what you have created for them.
Well, so I would say this heavily depends on the metric, right? If you have a metric that clearly communicates that I want more, then you probably can move into usage-based. So just to give you an example, flat subscription is a good go-to-market model for early-stage companies, for instance, but also to some companies that decide that simplicity is the key. One of the great examples is our client Brand24. They have different prices for different models, for different plans, 99, 149, 299 or something. I don't remember the full prices for now, but generally the concept is very flat, very simple, and it allows to scale fast, right? Subscription with overages, this is something we have covered. You're paying the fee, $49 plus everything you consume on top, which is like a good example is, again, AT&T charges, something like this.
Like surveys.
Yeah,
For mentioned.
surveys.
You can buy some surveys on top if you go beyond your initial limit, because I don't know, the sample is bigger, or the response rate that you receive is higher.
Subscription and usage hybrid is the recent example, very successful one actually, is Notion, that you pay flat subscription for every user, but on top you have Notion AI Assistant, in which you charge for users. Right now, I think they have also flattened it. But for instance, Note Taker that I've mentioned, Fireflies, like you pay for the subscription and then you pay for credits. Surfer AI, you pay for the Surfer subscription, and on top you pay for the AI tokens to build the content. This is a good example. Usage-based, this is APIs, usually API calls, Marketo, for instance. This is how it works.
So basically, from the helicopter point of view, you have a design choice where you need to adjust your model to the strategy that you have that is actually acceptable for your clients, but also profitable.
Correct. Yeah. So this is so one thing is the billing model, right? This is what we've covered, and second is the how you design this packaging, right? And from our observations, you have again 4 most common models, and you can pretty much create a hybrid based on them. Again, from the simplest to the most complex ones. So standard all-in-one package, great example is Basecamp again, right? You put everything is there. You pay one price for everything. Super good approach for early stage companies, something that you begin with. And once the product gets more complex, you kind of build it on top of that, right?
So this is quite interesting because many times we are in the conversations where our clients are telling us that they do not want to differentiate their pricing. They just want to have whole product, everything that they are building in one package. So the user not necessarily needs to think of which package you choose. This is contrary a bit to the behavioral economics, I think, where the more choices you have, the higher is the chance for your plan to convert. Nevertheless, I think in some cases this is very customer centric, especially at the beginning. If you do not have enough features to differentiate, this might be quite successful. So this is a design choice.
I always say that if you don't have features to differentiate, don't differentiate, right? Don't try to build it an artificial differentiation, right? It has to be true. So then it's something that everyone knows. It's good, better, best, 3 to 4 packages. But the difference between good, better, best usually work in the same way. What we need to remember is they are not separate, but every next plan contains the previous one. So you have all the benefits of plan 1, then additional features in plan 2, then plan 3 has all the benefits from plan 1 and 2, and then it compounds, so to say.
And it is funny how good, better, best works on different markets based on the research that we've conducted. For example, for the companies that have good, better, best model, in Poland, the average number of plans is around 3.2. In Germany, I think that it's around 2.8. And then if you see in total, this is not the benchmarks from us, but the one that I remember is 3.5, which is
3 to 4.
3 to 4. So which gives us very hard information to interpret because you don't know if you should have 3 paid plans or 4 paid plans.
I always recommend 4 because but only if you have
enough features
to differentiate, of course. But you can go into the extreme. Pipedrive is a super strong example where they have like 6 plans and then add-on policy on top. So if you look at Pipedrive, there are this like Pipedrive flowers that they're like expanding, and you see like whole page of plans. And this is why it's important, because again, Barry Schwartz, paradox of choice, it is literally asking you to pick the right plan for you. So you immediately go down to the model and try to see the differences.
And then comparing, I think, 3 to 4 plans versus all-in-one, what speaks in favor of good, better, best is new features policy, right? Because if you are working on the new feature, if you have a new feature in your product roadmap, you can test how successful is the feature based on the expansion revenue. If you, for example, add this new feature only to the highest or to the middle plan, so you can observe how the upselling motion is going.
And it's also some kind of the market standard, right? Good, better, best is something that you usually expect when you want to subscribe to the SaaS platform. Having said that, what you can also use good, better, best is for it is easily expandable, like pivotable to, for instance, if you want to open a freemium plan, you simply add it on the left. If you want to move enterprise plan, you simply add it on the right, or custom or whatever, right? So it allows you to certain kind of variability in the model. But what I think is in the product-led growth company, something that you want to kind of push forward is, again, coming back to the first episode, which is like doing the pricing for different buyer personas. So one price is for this person, second one is for this persona, third is for this. And the good example is Zendesk. They have services, Zendesk for services, Zendesk for sales. They are built differently. And I think this is something that is mostly done for specific use cases and something that from our experience is the most value-based.
And also, it is good for willingness to pay, to maximize the willingness to pay, because if you differentiate your pricing based on the persona, you do not anchor, for example, hardcore enterprise users with the price for small companies or agency fees. Recently, I had this important or interesting discussion with the client where they wanted to actually launch a product for 12K per month, and then on their website, the highest plan was for 399. And the conversation was around anchoring, because their clients were already so much anchored in low prices that the acceptability of 12K per month was extremely low.
This is again coming to the concept of, should I have my pricing transparent and open or closed and everything, which gives us kind of the fourth model, which is the most popular, which is build your own, aka modular. So this is something that you literally click through. Imagine the airline website or something. This is a good example is Zoom, that on the surface has a good, better, best plan. But if you click through the platform and actually move to checkout, they are asking you to buy a webinar, a additional layer of seats, even a full, a full video conferencing room that you can purchase directly on their website, which is obviously complicating their checkout a lot, but at the same time pushing towards more kind of customized approach towards different use cases. And this is something that is very often the case.
If you want to build your own modules, if you want to use this design choice, I think one could learn a lot from different industries. For example, retail, e-commerce, where actually in the customer journey you are adding stuff to your chart, and then the more you add, there is the higher probability then the consumer in this example will leave
it's a basket, right? It's an e-commerce basket. You're adding items on Zalando. It increases the overall price point. But yeah, this is one of the good example. I personally love not as a user or because they're trying to rip me off all the time, but as a pricing specialist, I find Ryanair's checkout very compelling, because one thing is that you purchase a flight, but then you can purchase, priority boarding, additional seats, flights, additional baggage, parking, pickup, everything, and it literally creates the e-commerce basket. And I generally also think that software as a service companies can learn a lot from e-commerce space, I would say.
I think it requires additional episode
what they can learn from e-commerce, which would directly link this to our e-commerce practice, by the way. But more or less to conclude, so when you're building the pricing packaging, you need to think of how billing model and design of your plans fit together and how you present it on the website. We'll have probably in the next season, we'll actually have more episodes regarding the actual displays and examples. But so to say, I think this is the most important learning. So choosing between directly monetizing the customer versus the simplicity. And this is the key learning for today.
So thank you very much for today. Make sure to subscribe to Pricing Masters and wait for the next episode in this season. Bye.